She filed the complaint against me on a Monday morning. By Friday, the investigation had abruptly changed direction, and by the following Monday, she was the one sitting in front of HR, waiting to be fired. I worked in compliance at a financial services firm. In this specific field, rigorous accuracy is the highest law. A single misattributed signature or overlooked error can trigger massive regulatory fines, meaning everyday mistakes have immediate, fatal career consequences. My colleague, we'll call her Natasha, was 3 years my senior. I consistently outperformed her on the internal metrics that actually mattered. She knew my numbers were higher, and she treated me directly as a threat. In a heavily regulated industry, an official accusation of falsification is an immediate career death sentence. If you cannot counter the claim flawlessly and instantly, your time in the financial sector is permanently over. Natasha's formal complaint contained a severe, highly specific allegation. She claimed I had intentionally falsified a crucial compliance report. When a senior colleague makes a subjective claim about your character, defending yourself becomes a psychological trap. You are suddenly forced to try and prove a negative against someone whose word inherently carries more institutional weight than yours. Surviving a fabricated narrative requires you to stop arguing over who said what. You have to immediately abandon the interpersonal conflict entirely and drag the fight into the cold, unalterable territory of objective data. The true origin of the conflict happened 3 weeks before the formal HR complaint was ever filed. I was reviewing the accounts when I discovered a critical error that had originated directly in Natasha's department. I followed standard operating procedure to the letter. I quietly fixed the error, properly documented the correction in the system logs, and moved on with my day. I didn't escalate it to management or even mention her name. What I didn't anticipate was that Natasha would monitor the system's audit log. When she saw the correction recorded under my name, she panicked. She decided on a preemptive strike. By filing a severe HR report, her goal was to definitively discredit my character before I could bring up her initial glaring mistake. The guilt of incompetence forces an overreaction. In her rush to protect herself, she manufactured a lie that ultimately generated the exact administrative scrutiny needed to expose her. The firm took the complaint entirely seriously. I was pulled into a cold, methodical meeting room with the HR investigators and asked to formally respond to the allegations of falsifying documents. My defense strategy was simple. I offered 0 emotional denials, 0 counter-accusations, and 0 theories. I handed them an impenetrable wall of digital receipts. This diagram completely reconstructs the digital footprint, laying out every email, document version, and system log. Unalterable timestamps validate exactly when I logged the correction. Following this footprint backward from my correction point, the trail explicitly points to Natasha's user credentials as the original error. The entire tone of the room changed. The HR lead looked at the history, looked back at the complaint, and classified my senior colleague's allegation as completely retaliatory. In an investigation governed by metadata, human lies cannot survive the unalterable chronological reality of an audit log. The consequence was immediate. Natasha was found to have filed a complaint she knew to be completely false, and the firm's policy on malicious internal reporting is entirely unambiguous. She was dismissed. I was formally cleared of all charges. The firm closed the investigation and placed a written apology directly into my personnel file. 6 months later, I was officially promoted into the exact role Natasha had spent the last year angling to secure. I didn't maintain those extensive records out of paranoia. I kept them because objective excellence in compliance work demands a rigorous paper trail. A system built on strict rules will inevitably turn and weaponize the truth against those who try to abuse it, but only if you have meticulously documented your work. Document everything. Always.